Hello, I see that someone has come into chat. If you can just give me a okay for volume and picture, etc., just to make sure I haven't messed anything up since last time, that'd be very helpful. Sound and vision sounds good. It's all good. Well, it's good to see you, Goblin. You managed to make it. Good to see you again, Adam. I say, I'm not forcing you to be here, Goblin. You know, I understand you're a very busy guy. You know, don't ever feel like you have to be here. You're working on your own channel, etc. But I am grateful that you have deemed me with your presence. Nah, okay. What's it like up with you in work at the moment? Is it hot, or is it not too bad up with you? You are kind of at the top of the country, so you know probably a bit cooler up there. It's hot with you as well, right? Oh, rain starting. Oh god, I can't wait for the rain to start. I want the rain. I need the rain. I miss it. I'm Welsh. I need the rain. I can't survive this heat. It's not for me. So yeah, we're gonna be carrying on painting up those non-player characters from the God, what are they called? Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers. So we got an elf, a miniature which they call a battle mage, but she kind of looks suspiciously like a certain Masters of the Universe character, if you ask me. We got the Dragon Slayer still. I'm really struggling thinking what to do with her. We got the pirate because someone in chat mentioned that they wanted to see the pirate or liked the pirate, so I decided may as well paint him up. We got the baker, which is more done. Just really need to do the paddle and the bread, etc., just to get that done. And then we got this weird one that was in the pack, and it's yeah, it's a weird one. There you go. Don't know if you can even see it. So yeah, it's a very strange one. So it's got a little face there. I need to really do a high dry brush on it just so you can see the details. He's got a little face there, but then he's got like this big alien face, and he's got these long, weird arms. It's like he's carrying some sort of alien creature on his shoulders. He's a very weird miniature, but you know, I figured might give him a go and see. Why is my color balance jumping in and out? Why are you doing that? Probably pulling on a wire now. That's probably it. Yeah, it does look a little bit like a kid with an eye of the beholder on his shoulder. A beholder, yeah, he does. Not sure quite what it's meant to be. Maybe it is meant to be that. I'm not sure. But what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quickly give him a quick dry brush just so you can see a bit more detail of him because at the moment you can't really see anything much. So Final Fantasy like miniature, is it? I haven't played Final Fantasy in years, so I would have to take your word for that because, like I said, I haven't played them in years. Can't even remember the last one I did play because the numbers went all weird at one point, so I wasn't sure which one I finished up playing last. So yeah, but let's give him a quick dry brush just to catch some detail, and hopefully you'll be able to see him a little bit better. There you go. Start to already. You can see a bit more of what is happening. There you go. So yeah, really weird little thing. It's a strange one. Did the base? I got the base quite pretty much as I want it, but yeah, the camera's failing to pick up the miniature very good in the jet black. It is with a bit of highlight. It seems to be picking up fine. But yeah, very odd miniature. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to be doing with him and how I'm painting him, but might be quite a fun one. Kind of my problem with this set though is like we got him, we're not quite sure what he is, but then we got the elf. So the elf, yeah, he's quite tall, so that's fine. Then we got a battle mage. Yeah, okay, that's about right. And then but then you got stuff like the pirate. And he looks almost like he must be a hobbit pirate or something because he is quite tiny compared to the other miniatures. And I'm thinking that because they're for like D&D, I think maybe they think scale doesn't really matter so much as long as the bases are the correct size, etc. You know, that's kind of what they work from. As a wargamer, I find it a little bit weird, but you know, hey ho, you have to live with these things. Okay, Mr. Elf Dude, what are we gonna do with you? Put a layer of skin down, though. Not particularly great, but oh yeah, the elf is kind of cool. I don't know, he's got a bit of an old school kind of Tolkien before the movies type look. You know, a bit more like I don't know, a traditional elf, I suppose. If I can find the skin color, I'm going to paint his skin again, but I can't remember what color I used now, and I just tipped all my paints on the table so I got easy access to them, and now I can't remember which one I was using, but we'll quickly chuck that one on. Just to give him a base tone. He'll go a lot paler, but as a base, we'll put that down and work up from there. What are you guys up to? What have you been painting? What are you working on at the moment? Anything interesting? Or just crunching through stuff to try and get it done? I don't know why I didn't paint this one year. I didn't paint the whole one side of his face for some reason. I was actually looking for my wet palette paper earlier because I was actually thinking about using my wet palette because it's so warm, but unfortunately I couldn't find the paper, so and I haven't got any kitchen paper. No, not kitchen paper, greaseproof paper or whatever it is that you can use instead, baking paper, whatever. I haven't got any of that, so I couldn't even use that instead. So the wet palette went out the window. Not literally, but the idea of using it did. And terrain, scratch build some shipping containers. Painted a TV stand to look like a landing pad. Huh. Wow, that sounds a TV stand. Okay, that's cool. And Goblin been painting Yarick for my next video. Oh, okay. Shouldn't be telling us this. This is trade secrets. You shouldn't be telling us about your next videos, Goblin. Yeah. Okay. It said chat disconnected. I hope you're still with me. I don't know why it said chat disconnected, but yeah, okay. There we go. I've covered his face, I think, correctly now. I will get to answering your question that you gave me, Adam, in the post. Thank you for that. That was very useful to have something that I can talk about. And I will come to that. Maybe give it a little bit, see if anyone else comes into the chat first. This one, I think, is meant to be a dragon slayer. She's meant to be. So, for some reason, she decided to use a wing as a cloak, which is a bit weird. But yeah. I've had the window open, and bloody hell, we've got all these midges that have come in through the window. So they're buzzing around me now, and they're bugging me. Women do weird things. Yeah, I know. Especially in Wales, they do hunt the dragons in Wales. We send the women out. So yeah, this one I'm going to definitely paint up. It's kind of Evelyn-esque color scheme, probably. Get her to the blues and purples, etc. But it'll be Evelyn from memory because I haven't brought up any references, etc. Nag the dragons. I didn't say that. I did not say that. That's completely from a Scottish man. We call you Scottish because you're living up there now. So I'm assuming your missus isn't is Welsh then. Afternoon, Danny. How are you doing? Nice to see you back. Yeah, the new yeah. It was advertised. I went to see. I went to see Mandalorian and Grogu with my daughter, and they were advertising the Master of the Universe movie. My kids are a bit sort of too young to remember it, and I wasn't really into He-Man, so it's probably one I'll give a miss to be honest. That's a pretty decent looking trailer, though, Yeah, I thought you might have married a Scottish lady goblin. Yeah, so yeah. Mrs. Goblin. To her face, you call her Mrs. Goblin? Gonna get slapped on the head, man. No, I didn't think so, Goblin. I thought that would be living life on the edge. What are we gonna do? Right, he's got like a scale mail breastplate or something. So, what should we do? We do. Right, we'll start off with the silver. Attached to your limbs. Well, you wouldn't be attached to your limbs if she caught you saying that. You'd be detached from your limbs, maybe. And maybe we'll chuck a I found an actual Citadel paint. I found it at the bottom of my cupboard, so let's chuck that in. Out of curiosity, what paint ranges do people use most? Asked Danny. Me personally, I use mostly Vallejo. So Vallejo color, etc. Just we discussed this over on the Crafty Minis stream. Sorry, not stream, podcast. And yeah, I think we kind of agreed that Vallejo was a good sort of baseline paint. You know, it's kind of like you get what you pay for and you're not going to be disappointed with. It may not thrill you, but you're not going to ever be disappointed by it. Army Painter, I use a little bit of. I have started to buy some of the Fanatic paints because I did have the ones that were out before the Fanatics, and they were not great. But the Fanatic paints are pretty decent, actually. They're maybe not quite Vallejo, but they're not bad at all. And then I have the occasional, you know, like contrast paint, etc., that I've just picked up at some point for some reason. I'm not quite sure how I've ended up with it, to be honest. But I've got it, so I'll use it. Yeah, Goblin, yeah. I have various ancient GW army painting Vallejo and some randoms. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Once you've been in the hobby for a while, you tend to pick up some, well, you know, well, that's an interesting color. Let's have a go at that type of thing. And you end up with a bit of a hodgepodge of paints, etc. So that I think that happens with a lot of us. But on the whole, I'm using Vallejo. And I just dropped my paintbrush on my lap. Oh, nice. I'm going to have some nice green paint on my lap. That's a worry for another day. Yeah, exactly. You know, pick the colors. Pretty much that's the same thing for anything. I think you just pick the right colors that you want to use, and you don't dip your brush in like I'm doing right now and screw up your brush. But you know, that's how I live. That's how I roll. Live dangerously. It's not really affecting the color as much as maybe I would want it. There's a green tint to it. I don't know if you can even. It helps if I mix it on. Don't know if you can even see. No, it's not really picking up the green tint. Might add just a splash, just a smidge of a. Actually, bloody paints everywhere now. Just a smidge of what's this one? Scaly Hide. There you go. So these are the old Army Painter range paints. So these aren't even the Fanatics, which are the good stuff. These are the old ones, and yeah, you can have quite a bit of troubles with them. Sit down and speed paint. Yeah, tried Army Painter, but found them lackluster until I got my paint mixer. They separate much better. Yeah. Especially the older paints, they were gel formula, I believe, something like that, and that's what really separated pretty badly. But the newer paints aren't quite so bad. You know, you need to obviously shake the living daylights out of them, but we're getting a bit of a more interesting color. You still can't see the green for some reason. It's not showing up on my camera because it's a metallic paint. It's probably reflecting the light back. But there is a bit of a green tone to it, so we'll go with that. The trouble is it's really runny now. It's almost like I've watered the paints down. God forbid I do that. Got Goblin. He keeps shouting at me whenever I water the paint down. He keeps telling me, keep it thicker. He keeps screaming at me, so I have to, rein him in. Hello, Crafty. How are you doing? Yeah, it's going well. How are you doing in the heat? Don't know if you can you see, got a bit of a metallic tinge to that sort of chainmail, or not chain, scale mail, I suppose. Now the hat, I suppose it's a helmet. Is it a helmet or is it a hat? I don't know. We'll paint it with this color and we'll figure it out as we go. Trying to keep him a bit more wood elf-ish than the nice shiny gold armor of the Lord of the Rings movies. I want to keep him sort of nature tied, so we're going for greens, etc. Obviously, and get that covered. Trying to paint some large scale. Are these minis that aren't minis again, Crafty? Because you came in and bamboozled me last time. I'm painting minis which aren't minis, which was very confusing. $75mm scale. That's not a mini. That's life size when you come from Wales. There's a cool. There is a cool duel game coming out from some of the original Games Workshop crew. Okay. I got there before you, Goblin. I got there before you. Okay, yeah. A duel game. Okay. Like an arena type battles, is it? There's so many of the OG Games Workshop bunch doing other stuff now. It's they're finally getting sort of some recognition, I think, for what they used to do in the Games Workshop sort of realm. It's nice, it's good that they're finally getting a bit of recognition. Called On Guard. Okay. So is it like a not On Guard? Yeah, On Guard. So is that a sounds almost like Renaissance or a thing? What sort of period? Is it a fantasy game or is it like a semi-historical game? I'll check that. It's not nice that they removed the recognition from all the new art. Yeah. Yeah. I'm very diplomatic when it comes to GW, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the company, and I'm not a terribly big fan of the games, etc. So it's yeah. But that's me. Everybody's got their own opinions, and that's my opinion. Don't get Crafty started on GW. He's He's not a big fan. Okay, what should we do with this? All right, so he's got. I'm going to keep his cloak green. Maybe like greens, and going to knock this sort of bluey color, but we'll knock it back down into more of an earthy color, sort of a more neutral color as we go on. But for now, let's just get this color in place so I can see roughly what I'm doing. Get it all in place. Do I, Crafty? Really? I'm not even going to read that one out. John Blanche and that sort of era. Yeah, okay. And it's very grim dark fantasy with pistols and swords. Ooh, okay. I must admit, grim dark is not a word that I gravitate towards. I don't know. There's something about the words now I think it's been overused a little bit. And it kind of just brings GW to mind for me. And then that turns me off kind of immediately. So, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I know most people in our hobby love grimdark, and that's perfectly fine. We're all allowed to like different things in our hobbies and our lives. So yeah, I do like sort of fantasy being kind of. I don't know how to describe what type of fantasy I like. I kind of like it being, I don't know, kind of folklory. I kind of like that idea. Undead Pirate and Grimdark in its original sense. Sadly, I can't put an image here. Yeah. I think we can probably look it up after the stream. Sometimes Grimdark can be used as a hide mistakes. It should be a color choice and a visual representation. I think Grimdark has become a sort of a catch-all for a lot of different things. So when people sometimes say Grimdark, they can mean an awful lot of different things. Because what Grimdark might be to one person might be, not particularly grim or dark. It might be, I don't know, it might be where Crafty lives or something. Sorry, Crafty. But no, it could, some people's grim and dark is not as grim and dark as other people's. So I don't know. Tell you what, I did watch again the other day because my daughter hadn't watched it. Was the Dungeons and Dragons movie, the one with Chris Pine? She thoroughly enjoyed it, and I must admit, I remembered it being okay last time, but I actually enjoyed watching it with her. So I don't know if it's maybe because I was watching it with her, I found even more enjoyment out of it this time than last time. But yeah, it was a decent little romp. It was. I think it knew exactly what it was. I think it knew it wasn't the new Lord of the Rings movie. It was definitely aware of itself and its audience, and I think it worked well for that reason. Yeah, it was. That's it. Goblin. It was just a fun movie. It was good. Danny, weirdly, recently there have been more solar punk games released. Solar punk. I don't think I've ever even think that term. Even role-playing games that do not require minis. Weirdly nice to paint. when there are lots of soft tones and gradients. Wet blending. Ooh, wet blending. Hmm, that sounds like a technique. I don't do techniques here. And the Red Sonja on your recommendation. What did you watch Red Sonja, Goblin? Yeah. I thought it was decent enough. I honestly did not find anything wrong with it. It was a little bit, but no, I quite enjoyed it. It was again another little fun romp. It kind of knew what it was. It took the mick out of like the chainmail bikini, etc. So it was quite, it was quite tongue in cheek in its own way as well. And of course, it had oh god, I forgot his name now. It's the baddie, which was really strange to see him as a baddie. Oh, what's his name? Irish dude. Was in Umbrella Academy and Misfits. Oh, oh god, it was on the tip of my tongue now. I forgot his name. But yeah, it had him in it as the baddie, which really threw me because I've never seen him playing like a baddie. It was very strange. So added another layer of this sort of silvery green just to build up some of the armor. Be checking our wash over it after so we can get some more shadows in the recess, etc. But yeah. Really good actually. We went to see that Grogu and Mandalorian, and our cinema. I went like the earliest showing, so it's like I don't know, 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning, something like that, because I was going there with my daughter, and there was me, my daughter, and another bloke and his two kids, and that was it in the entire cinema. It was five. Robert Sheehan, yeah, that's him. Yeah. I love him as an actor. He's a brilliant actor. But yeah, there was like literally five of us in the cinema, so may as well have been just us on our own. It was really, really nice. Plus, our cinema, if you get those really early tickets, it cost us something like, I don't know, I think it was about £10 for the both of us to go. it was really nice. Yeah, I try and do everything first thing in the morning, Goblin. It's just it's a lot easier to get things done. People generally don't want to get up early, so you get all the stuff to yourself more, Plus, when you're an antisocial bugger like I am, it helps. I'm wondering if this light is droning out. Let me turn that light off. Let's see if that makes any difference to the. Oh yeah, that's not good. No, I'll turn that light back on. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, let's give him another layer of this yellow olive on his cloak because it hasn't covered great. It's a bit blotchy. But yeah, it's half term here, so of course trying to get stuff done with the kids. Not that my kids are that young anymore, but I still, they still want to do stuff with me, which is nice. They haven't kicked old dad out yet, Could have something to do with I'm the only one who drives, so maybe that's why they haven't, I've still got a use, until they've learned to drive, and then maybe my usefulness would have outthinged itself. But yeah. We went to Caerphilly Castle. I put up a poster showing a picture of it. Lovely looking castle. Nice looking town as well, Gobbo. Yeah, really like going around seeing the castles. It's something that I do quite a bit of. I always find that, again, if you go quite early in the morning, we usually leaving by the time the crowds start getting to these places. So I get to be as antisocial as I want to be. Yeah, I am thinking. I've already set up. I've got another channel for my sort of non-miniature, non-wargaming stuff, or stuff that doesn't quite fit in here. So I'm thinking maybe I might start when I go to these sort of castles and all to visit them. I might, record them and, let people see what these places look like if you are unable to go to them yourself, etc. Sort of Welsh miniature board gamer out in the wild, so to speak. So yeah, I might start doing a bit of that as well. Just because I'm out there doing it anyway, and not everybody gets to see castles and stuff like that, and might be of interest to someone. Yeah, Goblin. Okay, well, my other channel at the moment has only got me playing a couple of PC games. So, but when it's got something like that, I will mention it. I'm waiting for Crafty to finish editing the Species Unknown video that we had that we played together. I can't wait for you to see that. Oh my goodness. I think I aged Crafty by about 5 or 6 years. Is the dragon still at Caerphilly Castle? Yeah, the dragons are there, the red and the white dragon. I'm sure you do, Goblin. It's just it's a long way to travel to see a castle. One day, I have been to Scotland once, actually. I went to visit a young lady when I was younger who lived in, okay, I'm going to butcher this name, Leven. So I came up to Scotland and I did see Edinburgh Castle from from the train. Yeah, my trigger discipline. Well, that's it's yeah. I was heightened reflexes. That's what it is. See. Thank you, Goblin. That would be that's a very kind offer. I have a trip planned at the moment, which is going to happen, but I don't really want to say too much about it at the moment because it might end up on the channel at some point or on someone else's channel. I don't want to give anything away if that. Whatever. Yeah. That's very kind of you, Goblin. Really nice of you. Yeah, well, in the future, maybe I'll take you up on it. Spoiler. I don't know what you're on about, Goblin. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, I recently, like today, I got my GoPro delivered. So I was trying to figure out how to work that bloody thing so that I can actually do some of these filming of me wandering around, exploring. Yes. We are coming down in July, Kafili, but we can swing around to Coppertropolis. Oh, there you go. This mini for a particular game. It's from blah, 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 the non-player characters from Dungeons and Lasers from Archon Studios. Hello, Zukov. Hey, we're all here. The gang's back together. He has got a very old school vibe. That's what I was saying earlier. I was saying I like the sort of pre Peter Jackson elf look about him. It's kind of Tolkien-esque, but it's not quite. It's more folklore elf more than big movie elf. And Zukov, I do believe when I was talking about these miniatures, you were on about this guy, the pirate captain. So, especially for you, I brought him on stream so that you can see him. Don't know whether I'll be painting him, but he's there, and maybe we'll have a little play at doing him. The only thing, like I was saying, he's a weird size. He's kind of a small little dude. So against an elf, he's kind of short and skinny, and then against let's get the baker woman. Against the baker woman, he's kind of, I don't know. Yeah, I suppose he's kind of in scale with her a bit more. A quick dry brush. Yeah, well, that's what I did earlier. I did a quick dry brush on that guy just so you could see the features. So, yeah, I'm done. Okay, bye. No, I'm getting something done. I don't know what I'm getting done, but I'm getting something done. The elf is looking pretty much how I started the stream, but he's looking like something. Well, you just, you're too cool to be on time, Zukov. That's the problem, Yeah, so, all right. I haven't got any of my washes on me. Otherwise, I would be putting a bit of a wash down on his little skirt that he's got here. But no, 100. Maybe I could use that contrast. Yeah, I could use that contrast. Let's have a go at using that contrast. Thin down some. What? I think Goblin's the heat's getting to him or something. He's on about some, I don't know, some weird technique of watering down paint. Yeah. It's almost like he thinks I know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's strange. Just weird thing to think. Just because I got a YouTube channel doesn't mean I know what I'm doing, mate. That isn't a joke either, actually. I think that's working quite well, actually. There's a kind of wash. Hitting those recesses and picking out it's looking a bit dark there and a bit sort of weird, but we'll get rid of some of the pooling. Don't worry too much about the pooling at the back because that's kind of where the shadows would be. There you go. That's looking a bit cleaner, and I'll come back and Put that original color in. Ooh, I missed a bit behind here. Come back and put the original color in on the panels to bring them up a bit. And yeah, that whitey blue color is really sort of quite stark at the moment. It's really making your eye pop, but yeah, it'll work. So yeah, like Danny was asking, anyone painting anything interesting? Any apart from Crafty, who's tickling away at his short people? With contrast, if you paint upwards, the darker area will be in the shadows. Turn the mini upside down as well as it dries. Okay, you use more paint in the last place the contrast touches. Yep. How old is your son, Adam? I know you were saying that this was a good time for you because your son went to bed. So I was kind of thinking, you're a youngster if you've got a son that young. Although if they're playing Hero Quest, maybe not so young. Managed to prime some Stargrave earlier in the week. Okay, what Stargrave did you have you got, and what do you think of them? 11. All right. Ah, okay. 11 and 6. Wow. Ooh, you got youngsters. That's yeah. Keep you busy. Mine are like 14 and 19 and now. I can't believe my eldest is 19. But yeah, so I'm really not sure what to do with this guy. I'm just looking at it, but like, what should I do? Maybe like a purple eye of the beholdery thing, like you said. He's got teeth coming out of his thing, and then this little dude here gonna be rather red faced, I would imagine, quite pinky red. If I do the beholder thing, purpley colors maybe, then what color would the coat be? Because I was thinking the coat was going to be purple. Maybe the coat red. Because he's meant. They call him the mayor, so red, red coat, purple tentacle arms. They're part of his coat actually, but they're really long and weird looking. It's kind of it's very hard to pick out what the heck is happening. Stargrave 1, crew with Viking barbarian heads and a crew with Xeno heads looking to do an all female crew too. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. I I hate to say it because I really like Osprey stuff, but I'm not a big fan of Edges. Well, I know Crafty's coat because you know it's in their blood. Everything has to be red coat. Royal blue coat. Have I got any blues? You know what? I don't think I brought any blues in with me. No. That's the thing about painting in a place where I don't usually paint is I haven't got all my paints with me. I grab a handful that I think is going to work and I leave the rest. Maybe we should paint the little dude first. Just get some skin tone on him. If we're going to go reddish, like red from exertion, etc. Let's put a little bit of a browny red down as a base. So that's cavalry brown. No, I just find Stargrave miniatures. I don't know. They're a bit too bold for me. Everything's very heroic scale, and I have started to like a little bit less heroic style and a little bit more sort of real proportions. I'm not saying too realistic because you don't want them too small, and it looks kind of odd when they are very realistic proportions. But I don't know, just super big proportions looks a little bit weird to me, and I have troubles then also kit bashing stuff because it's a completely different scale than to everybody else. No, well, I could train them to do that, but I'd probably get them thrown at my head or something, Goblin. They're old enough to be able to hit me now, too, with the paints that they throw at me. Yeah, I get that, Adam. That they're yeah. The fact that you could buy a bunch of like the mercenaries, the crew, the soldiers, what have you, and they're all the same scale. That's the one good thing with it is because they're all the same scale. You know that you can kit bash them together, and that's the problem a little bit with me as well because I've cut them all out and stuck them in boxes. I can't remember when someone asked me what kit this came from or that came from. They all look pretty much the same. So I can't remember which kit they are. Are they the mercenaries, or they the soldiers, or the crew, or whatever. I didn't mind the scavengers. I thought they were quite good with their big long bad guy trench coats. They were okay. I thought they could have taken it a little bit further. Make them a little bit more vague, little bit less just random dudes in trench coats. I do love the automatons. They're cool because with the kit bashing as well, you're on about with the Stargrave stuff. You can give them like robotic arms and all because they got like various robotic appendages and heads, etc. So you could, if you were that way inclined, you could make the Borg out of the automatons very easily. So that you can get that sort of aesthetic of, sort of slightly body horror esque, robotics, etc. Which is, yeah, which I kind of like that kit. What have I missed? What else looking down? I don't mind a nice heroic scale. Warlord games mostly get it right. I don't mind a heroic scale. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind a heroic scale. It has to be the right. I don't know. It has to be. How do I describe that? I think sometimes heroic scale works and sometimes it doesn't. There you go. And for me, the Stargrave stuff didn't really hit it quite right. But it could be that I didn't like the miniatures that much. And the fact that their heroic scale was neither here nor there, it could have been more real and I still wouldn't have liked it. That's just me. I don't know. They all felt very samey. And it's weird because I've just done obviously cannon fodder from the War Games Atlantic, and they're exactly the same. There's nothing different about each of the miniatures. They all like carbon copies of one another. But I kind of like that for what they are because they are, in my mind, the ones I painted up, they're starship crews, etc. So they all do have to look a little bit like they have a uniform or at least a fairly coherent look to them. All right, see you, Goblin. Have a good night. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you. Good night, Goblin. So you asked me a question in the post, Adam, and I'm very grateful for that. So you're asking me for advice or my opinion. I think that'd be better. Yeah, my opinion on two kits that would be good to kit bash together. And you said for Stargrave and for Frostgrave. So depends on really what you were making. That's a big thing. Is are you making the goodies or the baddies? Are you making what type of aesthetic do you want? Do you want them to be knightly? Do you want them? So it's quite a broad question. It's like yeah, I could give you loads of answers to that question. Personally, I like the Frostgrave Barbarians box. I love that box. The heads in that were amazing, and yeah, the bodies even were really good. So if you wanted like a good sort of warband that were kind of rough and ready, I would say those. And maybe if I was picking another one to kit bash it with, it'd probably be another actually Frostgrave box set. It'd be the Cultist 3. I really like them. They're really nice. All of the cultists are cool. They're really nice when you mix them up, etc. And they give you lots of parts that you can use in any sort of a band, or they can be good or bad. But they kind of look a little bit more evil. But there's evil looking good guys out there. So yeah, those are the two that I would like to mix together. And I haven't actually done it much, I don't think. But Barbarians and the Cultist 3 are the two nice sprues that I would pick. For like Stargrave, again, it depends on what sort of aesthetic you're going for. But for me, it would be maybe Cannon Fodder, because they are very plain and a good sort of bass tone to work from. You can jazz them up a bit, but you got that very sort of I don't know, sort of a clean palette to work from, and maybe the operators, the War Games Atlantic operators. So they're kind of they're a modern miniatures, so maybe the weapons will be a bit of a problem. But then you could go for the Ura box set, which is sort of near future weapons, and they got a bit of armor on them, etc. So they're quite good ones. They're quite good if you want. If having ARs and AKs is a problem for your future worlds, then maybe the Ura range from War Games Atlantic and Cannon Fodder would probably be my answer to that one. Yeah, Cultist 1 was a good kit. Cultist 2 is the female one, I think, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think I've got that one. Cultist 3 was amazing. I love Cultist 3 box set. Really nice. The Barbarians, I really like the Barbarians. The Barbarians 2, I wasn't so keen on, so the female Barbarians. I found their heads they all had weird haircuts, like the hair blowing in the wind, like they were in some, Van Halen video or something. It's very odd. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually an idea I've got for a video is like you've seen that I have a lot of box sets that I've painted over the years, etc. And that's without counting like the 2-player starter sets, etc. I don't count those really because I don't know. I don't know why I don't. But yeah, even like these box sets, I got loads of them. So I was thinking maybe I should go through the 20 plus box sets I have of miniatures and kind of rate them against each other, think which ones I like, what I like about them, why I don't like certain ones so much. I think that might make quite an interesting video. But yeah. So Monday's video is the Cannon Fodder review that I've been painting on the last few live streams. Yeah, the Guards of Traitor Toll minis are really nice. The villagers and the guards. Yeah, I had the starter set and yeah, really enjoyed putting them together. Actually, you had a lot of variety. Thank you, Crafty. Yeah, I think it might be a decent one. So unfortunately, I kind of chuck the boxes when I'm sort of got all the miniatures and I've done the video, because it would have been quite good to like quickly show you the box as I was reviewing them and telling you about them. But I could show you a few of the miniatures that I painted from those. Oh right, okay, Zukov. Definitely, I will do that video then. I was debating whether anybody would want that video, so it's quite nice to know that someone would. Victrix is Victrix sets look cool. I never bought a Victrix kit, but like obviously some of the like barbarian-y Viking looking people would make very good Frostgrave warband, etc. And they're not as they're not instantly recognizable like a say a Roman troop or something, you know, which you'd instantly think of, you know, it being a Roman troop, like Vikings are barbarians, if you will, you know, if no offense to anyone from that sort of heritage, but yeah, you know, a Viking, a barbarian, they all look kind of the same. So yeah, that was an idea anyway that I have for a video, and I will give that a go. Anyway, I added a little bit of silver to that sort of leaf mail that he's got. And I managed to get green on the blue tunic. Oh, my paint is drying out. If only there was a way to keep it wet and moist for longer. Yeah, the Vikings look really nice. I've looked at the Vikings quite a bit, but I'm thinking like, do I need more Vikings? But yeah. Ooh, what? They have Welsh? Ooh, okay. I didn't know Victrix did Welsh minis. Victrix Farm Animals. That's a useful little kit, actually. Yeah. Have weird and wonderful animals wandering around your battlefield, getting in the way of your shots. That would be quite funny. Yeah, represent, Daddy. There is Islamic infantry for people playing the Crusades would make nice fantasy generic desert types. Might want to go for different flags though. Yeah. You don't want to be accused of cultural appropriation or whatever. Stealing some religious flag or something and putting it on your mini might be seen as a bit of a bad thing. But yeah, of course. like Islamic infantry would look very sort of Haradrim or whatever, that sort of, sort of fantasy desert folk looking. What do you mean, crafty? What? Oh, God. It's very easily distracted, is our crafty. Let's put a bit of this sort of greeny silver, but I've got slightly more of the silver just to pick up this little like leaf emblem or whatever he's got on his helmet. Pick it out. Again, don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, I was counting through the multi-part plastic kit boxes. Like I said earlier, yeah, I got 23 over the years I've collected. So it's like, damn, I don't want to think about how much money that is. That's eesh. Yeah, but there you go. Let's not think about that. Thank God I bought a bunch of KR cases that I can stick all these minis in when I paint them. And probably never look at them ever again. That's depressing. No, most of them I do use. When I have a game of Rangers, I might bring out a random miniature that I haven't seen for a while, or if I'm playing 5 parsecs, etc. That's kind of why I tried to get into that game, is so I'd have something to do with my sci-fi miniatures, because I don't play a lot of sci-fi games. So yeah, I do try. That's kind of my thing that I do try and think about is, what am I going to use this miniature for, or this kit for, if I buy it? And that's kind of always in my mind. I know other people think about like, oh, is that miniature cool? Does it call to me? But I tend to think more along of, can I use it in any of the games I use? Because if I can't, or I play rather, if I can't, I probably won't buy it. Which is good in one way, but it kind of limits me as well, because I don't paint. I don't play any games with tentacled monsters or that sort of thing. So I don't get the chance to really paint those type of creatures, which would push my would be something a bit interesting maybe for me to paint, but just not. I'm never going to play a game with. See, I'm talking now, and I've just gone right over his hand. Nah, you're not going to know it. So yeah, so I kind of don't buy miniatures I'm not going to use, or haven't got a game in mind that I could use. Yeah, a laser cutter. Yeah, that's a cool idea, using the laser cutter to make individual parcel shelves, like for your miniatures, etc. Yeah, nice. Don't think my wife would trust me with a laser or a laser cutter. Probably set fire to the house or something. There you go. A bit of a darker green on his greaves, or his bracer. Not quite sure what that is. It looks kind of like a bracer, but he's got one on the other hand, so I'm assuming they're greaves. And what else can we use that colour for while we got it out? Could do his trousers. Yeah, I could do his trousers in that colour too. That's how kind of paint is. Can I use it somewhere a bit further away, which isn't going to make, so I don't have to keep getting different paints out. I know the different fabrics and their different consistencies or textures, but I use the same colors a lot on a Mini. You can always mix in some darker shades on the one than the other to make it look a little bit more like a different color. Danny, I have all the guards of Traitor's Toll, including the rule book, minis, dice, and cards with their own slots in the 91 box, all contained in one place, ready for whenever we fancy playing. Yeah, like Crafty said, is it a good game? I have that game. I really like the look of it, but I have yet to play it. And Danny currently waiting on the Star Wars Legion Separatist starter set coming tomorrow. Start work at 2 and should be quiet enough to put them together. Need to get some more boxes of these. Okay. Yeah, God's straight toe. Yeah, Danny says he enjoys it. Can get out of hand really quick. Yeah, that's part of the fun of it, though, isn't it? That's kind of what things can be going well, and then all of a sudden the proverbial poop hits the fan. I just undid the lid. That's not a very good child lock on that one, was it? All right, yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to play that at some point with my wife, maybe, because it seems like the type of game my wife would enjoy. It's very sort of almost board game-ish, like the movement mechanic in it when you're running and stuff. You have to go in a straight line, if I remember right, which is kind of hilarious. Last time we played, my wife caused a fire and we lost part of the city. Neither of us wanted to put it out as we both wanted the arrest. Oh, nice. Yeah. Just causing havoc because you're all running after the same criminal. I wonder when a company will finally release a plastic multi-part Cossack box set. Such a huge gap in the market. Isn't there a box set for that, Zukov? You would have thought with all the historical companies out there that someone would have done that. You work together, but you want to make sure that you get recognition for keeping the peace. You have to go in the straight line and you can accidentally knock over citizens and cause discontent. I'm not going to say anything about police. That sounds accurate. Okay, what am I going to do on him? Let's swap brushes. We're going to screw up my nice brush. It's a cheapy Amazon brush, but it's got my nice point on it, so I don't want to mess that one up. Let's get one of my more rougher brushes to do the base on this elf. We're going to go with a because he's got a grown. Oh, it's still hot. See, a grey sort of stone base. We're going to check a few drops of this grey in with that blue, so we can get a nice bluey grey, hopefully, colour for the stone. It's kind of you'll need a wash to knock it back a bit because it looks like it's going to be quite a bright grey, but that's fine. Perry's do some lovely metals for them, but winter and summer. But no one does plastic. That's strange. Yeah, that is a huge gap in the market because I don't know. Cossacks seem like something that people would want. Very strange. So yeah. I was thinking, actually, when I was getting the stuff ready for the stream, I was thinking to myself that it's nearly 10 years since I got back into this hobby, and I'm so glad I did. You know, it's become quite an important part of my life, to be honest. It's become a bit of my way of coping, and I've met some wonderful people through the channel. You know, none of them are here, but you know, in the conversations or anything. But you know, there are some wonderful people out there, and then there's people like you guys. You know that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really glad I got back into the hobby. It's been about 10 years now I've been back in the hobby, which yeah, channel's 8 years old, so yeah, it's got to be 10 years. Gonna have to start playing some of the games that got me back into the hobby as well, so that you know I can try and capture that sort of gaming, I don't know, nostalgia. Because I was very unsure about coming back to the hobby. A big thing, even more than now, was like trying to get into games that were quite cheap. So I got into a lot of like the Mantic games because they were, you know, reasonable price. The company seemed like they were a decent company, and still are. They still seem like a decent company. You know, they don't feel like a company that haven't got their head screwed on. You know, they don't take people for granted the way that some other companies I think do. And yeah, so I think I have to crack out my Walking Dead and Dead Zone again. Dead Zone is one of the few competitive games that my wife actually enjoyed playing, so it's kind of like it knows it's a game, where I think a lot of war games try and lose itself into, oh well, you know, in real life this might happen, so we'll have a rule for that, and it can take away from the fact that it is a game. Sometimes, you know, you're too busy trying to make rules for it to be realistic, and then it doesn't have to be so much fun. I don't know. While Dead Zone feels like it knows it's a game, you know it's a game, and you know you play on those 3-inch squares, which you move around in, etc. It was quite an interesting little game. Quite enjoyed it. Yeah, so gonna have to crack out my Dead Zone again. Have a little looky. See if my wife will have a little game with me. Yeah, he's starting to look a bit like he's making a bit more sense, doesn't he? Those little blobs which you can't really make out there are like flowers, so I'll be painting them up. That's why they're looking a bit black and a bit weird at the moment on the base. So, I'll check a washing all over the base to get it to die down a little bit so it's not quite so aggro. Yeah, Mantic, they're a business. They're obviously, trying to make money and all, but I think they've gone down the route of we can make money by making people happy with our games, which is a nice way to be. Yeah, Danny. Yeah, I think competitive games sort of breed that sort of rule mongering, or sort of I don't know. It's the person who knows the rule book the best, etc. And that's why I'm not really into competitive games too much. I do rather like solo or cooperative, which, if it's a solo game, you can make it a cooperative game easy enough. Uh, so I do kind of like that because then you got no one to argue with you about like house ruling certain rules, because just because you think it's a good idea to house rule a rule doesn't mean the opposition will, and it's kind of like we're trying, I don't know, out lawyer each other as some of these games are when they're very competitive against one another. But yeah. Because that's actually a game I've got. I got 2 editions of Dead Zone. It's one of the few games that I've gone from one edition to the next and actually bought both of them, which is kind of cool. I like having an arbiter. Games do not need to be fair to be fun. No. Having different goals makes for much better games. Yeah, 100%. That's why I like This Is Not a Test. There's often missions where you're both trying to do very different things, but you're on like different sides of the mission, etc. So one person might be wanting to move a caravan across the table while another one is trying to attack the caravan, or stuff like that. This Is Not a Test is a lot of fun in that way. Test of Honor one a few months ago. One team was ambushed by another. They had half the mods and lost. But then they took over a new force that ambushed the ambusher. It was all close. Yeah, that sounds hectic. Yeah, I think there are some people who play games to win. And for them, if they don't win, the game isn't fun anymore. And I think that's a shame because some of the funniest and some of the best games I've played, I've lost. And I'm quite fine with that because, it was an experience. There was something which led to me losing. And it sort of made its own little story in my head, which I think is more important that it's left you with something. Because if it was just, I won it, and I went away, I wouldn't remember. But because there was like a story or something happened that made that funny, it didn't really matter if I won or lost that game because what I'm going to remember is this thing that happened which caused whatever, I think that unfortunately a lot of people aren't like that. They want to win. If they don't win, it's not worth, it's a waste of time or something. Yeah. There's someone I used to play a lot of games with, and he was one of these very competitive people to the point there was some rule bending that used to go on from his side, and most of the time I would just let it slip because it's a game. I didn't want to, I don't want to ruin his fun if that's what he wants to do, but it kind of gets exhausting after a while, when someone keeps the only thing that's important is the winning, and it doesn't matter how you do it. It's like, no longer play with that person. But and also, if you both go into it with this is a story that we're playing out or whatever, you can often like house rule stuff and make it interesting. Even though it's not the tightest thing of the rule, you could be like, no, I'll give you that because that would be quite funny, or whatever. Games are meant to be fun. I know people get fun in different ways from games, though, so it's not for me to say winning isn't a legitimate way of having fun from playing games. Just not what I'm really trying to achieve when I'm playing a game. Just trying to have fun. Ooh, how did you do that? You mentioned me. Yeah. I agree. There are a few good friends I visit and talk to, but never play games with for that reason. Yeah, you know your crowd, and it's good once you know your crowd. You can kind of better assess people and what they want from games, and if they're completely alien to you, then you can like say, let's not play that game today, or let's do something else. It's yeah, it's getting on the same sort of wavelength with people, which is quite important. Once you're on the same wavelength and you find people who are on the same wavelength, you try and keep them around. Okay, we're going to try some Drakenhof Nightshade, another Citadel paint that I've managed to find. So it's this blue wash. I'm going to stick it on that rather bright looking. Ooh, I think I need to mix that a bit more. That's been sitting in the drawer for too long. Yeah, so anybody got any plans? Anything interesting happening in your lives? Anything noteworthy? Kids going back to school for me, so that's I do miss them when they're back in school, I must admit. Or college for my eldest. My youngest is starting like her build up towards studying for GCSEs, etc. So that's a thing. She's got a good head on her shoulder. She's very chill about it. She tries her best, and then what will be type thing, which is a very grown-up way to be. And very unlike me. I will think about everything for ages afterwards, thinking, did I do that right? Did I do that right? Etc. So, yeah. nail polish mixer works really well for separated paint. Really? Okay. Nail polish mixer. Our podcast is edited and up for coming Friday. There you go, everyone. So this coming Friday, it will be a podcast of Podcraft from myself and Crafty. What was this one about, Crafty? New job Monday, Adam. What is good? A good new job? Nice, step in the right direction. Looking forward to it, or needs must type job? Danny, I'm currently building a painting app to keep track of paints and recipes. We do not have to subscribe. I'm fed up with paying monthly for things. Yeah, I know. Monthly things, they add up. Once you get a few of them going, it's a pain. Sounds interesting. Let me know when it's done, and I'll give it a little plug on the channel, Danny. Zukov, meeting my sister tomorrow, which will be nice. Hopefully not going to be too hot outside. I think it's meant to be cooling a little bit in it, Zukov. Do you see that bloody foot? There's one of those midges. I said I left the window open and they bloody come in. Okay, try not to knock everything. So it's the AI video Crafty podcast. We don't mention the swamps. It's like 40 Towers. We don't mention the swamps. Same role, closer to home, more hours. Okay. Oh, well, that's good. It's close to home. That's nice. You're not going to spend all day in the car going back and forth. Yeah, congratulations, Adams. Congratulations, Adam. I took the S off congratulations and put it on your name. That was a bit weird. When I laugh, I wobble the table. I should really move my arms when I laugh. Okay. I don't even know what you left in of that conversation, Crafty, because that shit went sideways quick. I really don't know what you could have left in of that conversation on the podcast. Find out on Friday. But yeah. Oh yeah. When me and Crafty get together to do our podcasts, I would say you guys get to see about 20% of the stuff because he goes off on one. By Jove, does he go off on one? But yeah, nice. I think I'm pretty much caught up on the chat. Hopefully not going to be too yeah. I haven't really got much planned this week. Okay. I say if you send me like a link or something when you get it done, I'll be happy to put it out there a little bit, Danny. Mention it, have a little look at it if you want me to. I'm not gonna push myself onto it, But I'd happily have a look at it and mention it once you have finished. So Crafty, did you know about the new XCOM miniatures game that's coming out? Yeah, Danny, 100%. Yeah, it's the same when you're like writing rule sets for games. Sometimes you make assumptions which other people aren't assuming, but because you've been looking at something for so long, you make assumptions that they know things, so you just become blind to some obvious, you know, things. So yeah, it's a good thing. Put it out to people to test. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm kind of. I wonder what they're gonna do with that game, the XCOM miniatures game. Are they gonna have management in it? I'm hoping so. I hope there'll be a bit of like base management. Um, maybe, yeah. Wondering how they're gonna, thing the game into a miniatures game, because a lot of the basics are there anyway. Like if you think about it, the movement, etc., and stuff like that is pretty much what we do in a miniatures game on computer game. Like so, yeah, it's just how what they're gonna bring over, how they'd bring it over. It's quite interesting. Like I said, I've written a bunch of rules for XCOM of my own version, but and yeah, I hope they do a lot like I did it, but they probably go a completely different way, and it'll be interesting to see. But Modifius got a pretty good track record. They do tend to maybe have too many fingers in too many pies. Because if you like a specific thing of theirs, whether they'll actually come back to what you like is a bit of a problem, or will they be distracted by their next shiny project? XCOM board game was okay, to be fair. Yeah, yeah. Different company though, so don't know what we could really, you know, will it be transferable type thing, skills, etc. I think that they've gone a different way, probably. Like I said, they were looking for play testers, and I did have the email to think about doing the play test, but you have to sign like an NDA and what have you to do the play testing. So I was a little bit like, what if I wanted to talk about it? What if I started talking about it and I've signed an NDA and I'm not allowed to talk about it because I am a bit of I kind of forget what I'm meant to talk about and what I'm not meant to talk about, so I do tend to go off on one sometimes. So yeah, so I gave it a pass. So I thought maybe best not to. But yeah, I'll stay on for another about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour. If anybody wants to ask any questions or have got anything they want to chat with anyone else in the chat about, just give you a little bit of a warning that I'll be on for about another quarter of an hour. Yeah, I've made quite a few rules of my own over the years, but yeah, the XCOM one is one I'm kind of working on at the moment. My own little house rules for games, etc. How well it works, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it makes sense at the moment. It's one of those things that until you actually play a game quite a bit, you can't actually be sure it holds up, and then you have to go back and change like rules and what have you, and then once you change one or two rules, you have to change a load more. Uh, at some point, yeah, of course, Danny. I will probably have to obviously not call it XCOM because that is a IP. But yeah, of course, yeah, I'm probably not far enough along with the XCOM one at the moment to be able to share it, because probably wouldn't make a lot of sense at the moment because my rules are kind of spread out amongst many sheet of paper, etc. But yeah, as soon as I think it's sort of coherent enough that people can understand it, I will definitely share it. But with you guys first, of course, before I do anything. Not that I would ever release it or anything, you know, but maybe put it on my channel, you know, play a few games of it, show how it would work, and then just, you know, anybody who wants the rules could download them or something. If I could figure out how to do that sort of shenanigans. Oh, Adam, okay. Taking the scouts camping. Oh, wow. Brave man. You're a brave man, Adam. Taking young'uns camping. So, if anyone hears of any camping accidents that have happened over the next week, we know what happened to Adam. My daughter was a member of the Scouts for a while. Unfortunately, I think that the Scout Master wasn't particularly interested in being a Scoutmaster, really, so they didn't really do an awful lot. Which was a shame, because it was a good way of meeting other people and getting out of the house. Very nice of you volunteering your time, Adam. All right, okay. Yeah, you might be very close to me then, Adam. I'll keep my head low. He's starting to look a bit more like an elf, isn't he? It's amazing what a bit of wash does. Clean it up, bring some highlights back in, and I think it'll look quite nice. So you got young'uns and you're a scout leader. Wow. Okay. Would you get the energy from Adam? Oh, you're younger than me, of course. Yeah, you know, you're still young enough to have energy left. You meet all sorts, not just. Yeah, I would imagine you. People generally who go into that sort of voluntary work, you kind of know they're not going to be real dicks, don't you? You know, they're volunteering their time, and also it's kind of, it's a given that you're probably going to be a fairly decent person. Yeah, like I say, I haven't really got any plans. I have to go back to the gym. Didn't go to the gym this week. I think the idea of going to the gym, one, when my kids are home, I don't particularly like doing that. I like to be around them as much as I can. And two, in this heat, I think it would have probably finished me off. So yeah, go back to the gym. Start going back to the gym again. You know, try and get my Try and get myself a little bit fitter. Yeah, so I can't think of anything else I got planned. Figure out how to use that freaking camera, that GoPro that I bought. Let's give that a go. Probably have a little wander around, record some random stuff just to see how to work it. It's quite funny though. I ordered the camera, and the camera come within 2 days. I ordered a SD card for the camera, and that's not coming until the 10th. So yeah, that's a problem. Luckily, I have a few SD cards lying around, so I can use it, but they're not particularly big ones, so they'll be chewing through that memory pretty quick. But yeah, we'll give it a little experiment. Get to know how to use it, at least basically. Technology is not my forte, but try and get some understanding of how to use the bloody GoPro. Probably random shots of my feet and stuff. And yeah, Blair Witch Project style, you know, up at my face as I'm like sweating and crying and wishing that I hadn't tried to climb this hill. But yeah. See, new skills. I do try to learn new skills. That's good, Danny. Yeah. My kids have never been particularly outgoing, so it's been it's always a fight to get them to take part in stuff. Although my youngest is better than my eldest. Because of their autism and what have you, struggles a little bit with meeting people. But yeah, so Scouts and the Cubs and Girl Guides and what have you. Yeah, really good societies. So yeah, another question then. Okay, seeing that you guys are still about. If you've watched my last sort of my videos this month, did you notice that I didn't have my intro in the videos? Because yeah, when I introduced my channel, I didn't have any intro, but I brought an intro in about a year ago, and I had a lot of people thinking, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that. You know, it's not good for your videos. We don't want it, etc." But I did it anyway because to me it felt like it was, I don't know, it fitted. And the last few, I did a little tester to see whether or not anyone would even notice, and I haven't had anyone say that they noticed that I didn't have my intro in the last few. So I'm wondering if it really bothered them that much to begin with, because they weren't like, "Oh yeah, thank God you got rid of that." No, exactly, Danny. I think a lot of people didn't notice either, because I didn't get one person mention it, and it's been like about a month now of me releasing videos without my intro. So I think I might bring it back in because I personally like my intro, the little music. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so I probably will bring it back in. It's just that I wanted to see if anyone actually commented it or could be bothered about it. Crafty. Oh, there you are, my number one fan, and you didn't even notice. Charming. Wow. No, no. I think it was short enough, the intro, but I don't think anyone really is going to be too upset by it. It's only like was it 10-second clip or something of just that music playing before the video. So I probably will bring it back in because I rather it, like I say. So that's kind of what he's looking like now. Bring him up a bit closer. There you go. So that's what I got done in the last nearly 2 hours. Not an awful lot, but he's taking shape. Yeah. It's surprising though the friction I had when I said I was going to put an intro on the video. When I was originally going to do it, a lot of people were really quite upset about it, telling me like, oh well, I'm just gonna, I won't bother, or I'll run it over. And I was thinking, yeah, just run through it. It's only a 10-second clip. It's not gonna worry you too much. If it does, So yeah, don't mind him. He's looking all right. Needs a lot of cleanup and a bit more sort of highlight definition, etc. But it's looking okay. Yeah. No, I do it for the money, Danny. That huge YouTuber, 1,000 subscriber money. No, of course, I do it for. This is my fun place. Yeah, this is my part of my hobby, and that's why I do it. I don't do it to I don't do it to make money. I would we've discussed this before. As soon as it becomes more than your hobby and sharing your hobby and making friends and a community, as soon as you start trying to make it a business, it becomes your work, and yeah, no one wants that. Yeah, thank you, Danny. Yes, I know. I do feel a very sort of imposter syndrome a lot. You smaller YouTube channels, I think, feel it a lot because the smaller you are, the smaller you feel in a lot of ways. It's yeah, it's hard to put into words. Me and Crafty have talked about this quite often. It's even if we did make it big, I think we would both worry about losing what passion we've got for the channels, and for our hobby, etc. So it's quite nice being sort of a smaller channel that I can say how I feel, and I can do what I want, and I can share my passions with you guys, and not feel like I have to watch what I say, and what that I don't offend any businesses that might be interested in putting money my way, etc. Which obviously isn't happening, and I'm okay with that. See a lot of the bigger YouTube channels, especially when they started out small and they've gone big or exploded. Like you can see it in their faces, and you can hear it in their voices. Sometimes they've become a little bit disillusioned by what they've become also, and it's a shame because obviously they started out with a passion for whatever their YouTube channel or Twitch or whatever it was, and it's not nice when you see people lose the passion for something which they obviously loved at one point. Okay. So I don't know. Another thing I don't know about this YouTube live stream things, is there much of a delay from when I talk to when you can actually reply? I'm not sure because there was something when I was looking at the settings and they were saying like a 60-second delay or something, but I couldn't get that to turn off. So I'm not sure if that is actually true. I've noticed it on bigger channels. I won't name names, it's rude, but you can kind of tell that they're covering mini ranges they actually like and ones they kind of have to cover to keep yeah, yeah. It's like sort of like that playing the algorithm, Zugoff. There are tricks. If you want to use those tricks, you can. You know, me and Crafty were talking about this about you should be thinking like, oh, secrets that GW don't want you to know, and even if you don't actually say anything of interest, because you've mentioned it in the title, it's already on people's radars, and you see a lot of that from people, and yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 It there are ways of playing the game if you want to play the game. Me and Crafty, I would say, are in the same boat here. Neither of us want to play the game. We just want to, do our fun, videos, talk about our passions, enjoy ourselves, enjoy the community. Both of us want, to interact with you guys and be part of the community. We don't want to be the bosses of the community and then kind of leave you to your own devices. We want to be involved in what you guys talk about and what have you. And I think when you get to such a big point, you can't really. You're kind of the boss of the channel, but you're kind of not involved in it anymore. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing, that as well, big companies have got the big budget to push it onto, channels to, try and sell their product. So, you do see then these waves of everybody plugging the same things, and that can get kind of boring kind of quick. No, but yeah, I do want to just say, I am grateful to you guys always, supporting me, chatting, you know, being a part of this channel. Don't feel like I don't feel like it's just my channel. I feel like it's our channel. I know you can you can only really be on when I'm on, but that's why I really would like to maybe set up a Discord. So maybe at some point that is something I will do. So the community can sort of carry on when I'm not about by here. Talking to you. That's kind of my dream for the channel is just building the community, being part of the community, not necessarily being the leader of it, which doesn't really interest me at all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think Crafty, you were talking about that you were You were sponsored by Manscaped or something in our last podcast. It's a joke. He's not, obviously, But yeah, it does make me laugh when you see stuff like, sponsored by Manscaped or something. It's like, what the hell has that got to do with my miniatures? What have you. That's quite funny because one of the people who was sponsored by Manscaped at one point was a guy called Zorb. He's got a YouTube channel. And he was sponsored by Manscaped. And he is a long-haired, bearded dude that you know 100% never uses Manscaped as products, but it's quite funny, Thank you, Zukov. Yeah, he's getting there. He's got a bit of an old school vibe about him. Even the paint job, I think, is actually coming out quite sort of, dare I say, Angus McBride. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how he's turning out. Okay, well, we have reached 2 hours, so I suppose I should leave you guys to tend to your evenings. And it's been really nice having you here, chatting with you. Hope you've enjoyed. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, Adam. Yeah, he does have to pay for those things. Yeah, and he's just got married, so he has to pay for his new wife. So yeah, Zob's pretty cool though. I do like his content. So yeah, so thank you, Zukov. So yeah, I will be bidding you all good night. Have a good one. How do you get in touch? So on my YouTube channel, I think you can contact me through the email. I think that's right, isn't it, Crafty? Because that's how you got in contact with me originally, I think. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. I'm 100% sure for a bit there. Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see that there is a email. Oh God, my brain just went. So you could send, if you wanted to send a link or whatever, Danny. I'll have a look at it. It'd be Welsh Miniature Board Gamer at hang on, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer 365, is it? I think it is something like that. At outlook.com, maybe, possibly. If I remember, I'll try and put it in a post. So if you, I'll try and remember to do that for you, Danny, and then anyone can send me emails. Just kind of worrying. No problem, Danny. It'd be interesting to see it. And if I can get some eyes on it, that would be, be what I can do for you. We'll see. Okay, I better be off. I'll leave you to it. Have a good night, all, and all the best. Until next time, goodbye from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.